Hello, folks. This is actually my very first live, and despite the name of it, it's not a cooking channel. But I do love to cook. But I do love to cook. I am a terrible food snob. I like my food good. I like it tasty. I like it fun. So I do cook kind of a lot. So today I'm gonna make onion jam. That is a marvelous, marvelous thing that I have learned from HelloFresh of all the places. And where do I use it? I personally love onion jam on burgers. That's like my favorite place to use it. My husband says that like spoon to jar is a good option too. That's barbaric as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, but you know, that's my thing. So let's get started. Oh, before we get started, not just because this is my first live, but just in general, don't be a dick. You know, um, I this is a cooking live. And please don't report me if like a bottle of wine makes an appearance. I am European. I do cook with wine even though I live in the States. Um, there will be knives involved. There will be cutting of vegetables involved. Please don't report me for conducting dangerous acts and so on. So, you know, just if you don't like what you see, just leave. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. It's acceptable. So let's get started. What are we doing? Onion jam. We are using red onions and they are huge. I don't know how many of these I'm actually going to use, but we'll see. So, red onions. Because I am super short, I'm 5'1", I don't actually like cutting with a knife when I have a lot of cutting. So instead, I'm going to use my mandolin, which I love. This is like my new best friend. It's been my new best friend like through this whole year. A friend of mine on Facebook had recommended this. I'm checking my settings. This made all my jam making and all my pickling so much easier. I mean, seriously, I love this thing. And I mean, because I'm into scary and strange things, I like it because it's like a guillotine. Ha 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 ha. When I'm having a bad day, I can just do this. This is like a really therapeutic thing to do. And thank you for joining, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Because I'm cooking, I'm going to try and keep with the comments and such. So, just be patient with me. All right. But I'll try to stay on top of things. But yeah, thank you so much for liking and thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. All right. So that said, even with the mandolin, these guys need to be split up. Well, peeled and split up. So let's do that. But you know what? I need something to put my stuff into. So, two things. Bowl, trash bowl. Alright, here we go. Now we're ready. So, and usually when working with the mandolin, it takes a few tries because, of course, I cannot, for the life of me, remember what I did with it last time. And someone else may have used it before, like my husband might have used it, so he might have messed up my settings. So this onion is an X onion. It's pining for the fjords. It is like, it's half dead. But half of it is not dead. So let me just see where she is set up. too thick. Too thick. Where do I want this? Hang on a sec. So, okay. Turn it this way. I don't want them thick. Ah, yes. Here we go. Much better. And this is infernally loud, but this is so easy. Oh my God, I love this device. I love this gadget. And the friend of mine who actually recommended this, Stacy, if you're out there, I shall forever be grateful for you doing this. And no, this is not sponsored, but I just super love my mandolin. So there we go. And as we work with them, we feel them. By the way, fun fact. So making onion jam is very, 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 very similar to making French onion soup. As I said, I am a food snob, and I learned how to make French onion soup in actual France, in Paris. I watched it made because I ordered it. It's was one of my primary sources of sustenance both time I've been to Paris. So, and I love French onion soup. So I watched it made, as I said, in the little, hole-in-the-wall restaurants, and had a chance to watch the chefs actually go for it, actually do it. So, but it starts the same exact way. You take a just metric shit ton of onions, and you slice them. The deviation comes when it's time to, you know what, it probably helps if I put this thing back to catch. Sorry, guys. Oh my God, these are wicked. I'm usually pretty onion resistant, but these are starting to make me tear up. Let me finish this onion, and I'm going to check on y'all, see how y'all do. I think we're going to end up using all of these. Because remember, when we are making stuff like that, it cooks down. Let me check on y'all. How is everybody doing today? Thank you for joining. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the likes. That is so sweet. Let me see who else is out there. Okay, so far none of my usual guys are out there, but yeah, see how are we doing, everybody? And by the way, this is typical because I work on all week, and then I have my hikes and dancing Friday afternoon and Saturday, and exercise, and another live that I do with my husband, playing classic games on Twitch, which we're going to restart doing next Saturday finally, because we had an equipment issue. So because of that, this is basically the only time for me to do this. So I do a lot of my cooking, like pickling and jamming and other stuff on Sundays. I still think it's rest. I think cooking is super, super, super therapeutic. I think it's a lot of fun. It's messy. Oh my God, it's messy. Why am I not wearing my apron? How did you guys let me go live cooking without an apron? Here we go. All is right with the world. Okay, and apparently I need to retie this, but let's put it on first. In case you're wondering, my apron says Mama Masha, and that goes back many years. It's not my favorite nickname, but it was a nickname given to me by a very, very, very dear friend. Mandy, if you're out there, I love you. But anyway, so Masha is the abbreviated version of my name, Maria, in Russian and Ukrainian, because I am originally from Ukraine. And at one point, I was helping my friend Mandy to write, oh, this is too tight, to write a cooking portion of her web magazine. And the title of that was Mama Masha's Kitchen. Eventually, the entries to that magazine became the foundation of my cookbook called The Binge, which is actually, as of 2 weeks ago, available not only in paperback and Kindle, but is also available in hardcover version. So it's on Amazon out there. Check it out. But anyway, so this is, and then another friend to whom I told about this made me a custom apron that says Mama Masha on it. So there, that's where that comes from. Back to the grind. Back to slicing and dicing. Yeah, and my favorite onion to use for both onion jam is both onion jam and French onion soup is red, sweet Italian onion. The reason being that you hardly need to add anything to it. It is so juicy. It's beautiful. And it's very sweet. This is my next favorite, which is just your basic red onion. The thing to remember with this one, again, you know, the fun part about onion jam is that it is actually what I would consider a savory jam rather than a dessert jam. So, you know, it's not something you would put like on toast. Well, you could put it on toast, I suppose, if you're into that sort of thing. But like I said, I use it on burgers. So, I'm making a horrible mess. So the sweetness of the onions and the juice kind of level, I don't know, is there some measurement for that? Is there like a scientific measurement of onion juiciness? You know, it makes a difference. So when I work with the with my favorite onion, with the sweet red Italian, I don't add sugar to the jam. I don't add a whole lot of sugar in general, but I do add some. So with this one, it's a little bit of a, whoosh, this is wicked. I'm crying, and this onion is just, whew, it is getting to me, even though I'm wearing glasses. And like I said, I'm usually the one who is pretty onion resistant because I have eaten a lot of raw onion and garlic in my time growing up in Soviet Ukraine, especially during the cold months when we had vitamin deficiency, and onion and garlic were just about the only things you could get to keep your vitamin levels up. So, yeah. So, I don't know why I reacted to this so badly. I must be out of practice. I know some people will tell me, people to whom I send onion jam on a regular basis, they'll tell you, you don't make enough onion jam, you should make it more often and like have more to send to us. I know how you guys are. I know how you guys are. Don't get stuck. My little guillotine. Do not get stuck. All right. See, now we're talking. We are filling up. I might even be able to hold back. Yeah, let me hold back one. Which one is in better shape? This one. So, let me check on y'all. All right. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the likes. I really appreciate that. And like I said, I'm surprised anybody had joined because this is my very first live, and I didn't exactly announce it. I was very hesitant before doing this. So yeah, I'm just happy, folks are here. I'm just delighted. Um, Still none of my buddies out there. Okay, that's all right. Let's hi, thank you. Um, Hi, Frozen Ostrich. Oh my God, love that nickname. That's adorable. And of course, I'm extremely visual, so I like immediately visualize this like ostrich extremely covered in snow, maybe with a icicle hanging off its nose. So if I have any artists out there, uh, go ahead, make me a little drawing of that. Back to the grind. Okay, so like I said, this is a twofer. So this is both, this is like I said, the foundations of the onion jam and um, French onion soup. I should make French onion soup. Maybe get more onions next week and make some. And we're having a great soup weather right now. So this is very typical. I live in the western portion of North Carolina. So in the Blue Ridge Mountain area of North Carolina. And we have sort of our own climate up here. Mountains being, what they are, affect how the weather masses move, how the temperatures change. So, on Friday, somebody needs to make this a sound. Somebody, like this could be a jam, right? So on Friday, it was warm enough. I hiked 8 miles, and somewhere in the middle of the hike, I actually went swimming. Now, the water was cold. The lake where I went swimming, Lake Powhatan, if anybody's in my area, that is the lake. So if you are in the North Carolina Arboretum, that's off of Blue Ridge Parkway, and you take the Carolina Mountain Trail off of the Arboretum and take the side branch that goes to Lake Powhatan, there's a little beach there that you can swim at. Unfortunately, they don't allow dogs. For obvious reasons, because mess is hard to clean up when you're working with the sand. Anyway, so I went there, and I actually had a chance to, stretch out on the beach for a little bit, because it was in the mid-70s. The water was cold, because Lake Powhatan is a tiny lake, and it is fed by a mountain stream, and that stream is crazy cold. Our water up here in the mountains does not get warm at all, ever. So it is encased between layers of granite. It sits very deep, and it does not want to it doesn't get warm. And so that lake basically doesn't really have time to get warm. It's a little bit warmer than the stream that feeds it, but only just by a little bit. So, but I was able to go swimming, and I felt comfortable because the air was warm. Today, sometime between Friday and Saturday, the temperature fell 20 degrees. And it's been like that, and it's extremely windy. So right now it's barely making it to the high of 60 degrees Fahrenheit, folks, And, there's no way. I would have to do some serious cold training to actually do this. Let me see how you're doing. Hi, folks. Folks, by the way, I'm not very savvy with the abbreviations, so if you are trying to say something to me, say it in a full sentence. Like somebody is typing WSG, I don't know what that means. All right? If somebody can explain that to me, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Anyway, moving on. So, we got our onions. Oh, and hi folks. Who did I not say? Yeah, oh, there's Frozen Ostriches still there. Who do I have? Okay, I'm just checking to see how things are going. Checking to see if I have anyone up. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get cooking. So, this applies to both the jam and the French onion soup. Big pan. Let me turn you a little bit towards me so you can see my stove. Big pan, turn it on. Initially, by the way, I had an electrical stove. I do not like electric stoves. Again, snob, but I am in the school of thought that gas stoves are better, so I have a propane stove. So basically grab a drizzle of oil and heat it up. Do I need the mandolin for anything else, or can I actually put it away? I think I'm done with the mandolin. But yeah, I forget who makes this. Hang on a second. Dash. So again, this is not sponsored, but Dash, if you want to sponsor me, I'm happy to, because this is, like I told you, this is my new, I should name it. This is my friend. This is my buddy here. But anyway, I love this thing, and it's a little tricky to wash out all the little pieces, so it helps if you soak it. But all in all, I'm so pleased with this. Like I said, I used to be reluctant to do like all my different jams and pickles and compotes and all of that stuff. And that was primarily because by the time I was done, my arm was falling off from so much cutting. Now it's like big deal. All right, my oil is heated. Dump it in. Super! Okay, put it down. Turn it down, turn it down, turn it down. I said down, okay. Trying not to burn anything. Okay. And I am one of those people who cooks and cleans at the same time. I think it's an awesome thing to do. It makes life easier, basically. So, less to do later, especially if you're making something big. All right. There we go. Get out of there, guys. Yeah, this is the hard part of cleaning the mandolin. It's just like all of these little teeth get stuck. I'm trying not to break it. Okay, so this is as clean as she's gonna get without the dishwasher. So okay, good. That's done. Back to our jam. Let me again turn you around. Hello, folks. Oh my goodness, I'm over 100 likes. I'm so excited. Again, I have not done a live ever before this, so I'm just excited I have anyone on here at all. So, because one of my big fears was that I'm gonna come live and like nobody's gonna be there. So this is super, super great. I prefer to use wooden spoons, bamboo spoons in my cooking. No, you should not be washing them in the dishwasher. You should wash them by hand. It's not a big deal. It's really not a big deal, but they last longer. I love the look of them. First of all, I'm a huge aesthetic. I love things that are beautiful, and I love natural materials, but they do last long. Turn that off. And I don't know, I really love this. They work really well. Like this is, we've had this, I don't know for how long. multiple years, possibly 10 years. But basically, these are so easy to care for. You just wash them by hand, and then when you feel the wood starting to dry up, use the tongue oil to treat it. And tongue oil is food safe. Just don't like literally pour it in your mouth. Don't start eating off the spoon immediately after. But use some tongue oil, rub it down, and it'll be good as new. It's great. So, but yeah, so now that we got them in there, now we're gonna start juicing them. And in order to juice any vegetable, what do? We salt it. Actually, you know what? I probably should bring my canning salt for this purpose. Yep, let me go get that. Again, this is not an exact science. So what happens with things like that, with things like onion jam, like French onion soup, just about anything that involves just slicing and dicing things and throwing them together. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the roses. Oh, I so appreciate it. That is so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lily of the Sound. Oh, that is so sweet. Oh. Hey, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. We're making onion jam, Lily. You just missed a whole bunch of slicing and dicing with my little cutting mandolin, which I affectionately call my kitchen my kitchen guillotine. I'm great. How are you doing today? And this is my first ever live, so I'm like tickled pink that anybody had joined at all. So I'm like. I'm like, if any of our mutual friends join, like if Stuart joins or if Anne joins or Catriona joins, I'm gonna faint, and you guys are gonna have to like send the SWAT team to my kitchen to resuscitate. Oh, I'm sorry you're tired. Lily, do you have to work tomorrow? Oh, thank you. You don't have to always join you. Okay. So, anyway, going back. So, not an exact science when it comes to adding salt and sugar. I try to be conservative with my stuff because you can always add, you can't take away. You know, especially with, with a strong salt. And I like using pickling and canning salt because this is what it's for. It is specifically formulated for stuff that gets put into a jar and gets put away for a while. You know what? I'm like looking around. I'm unprepared for this. Because normally I have like all my stuff that goes into the jar already sitting out. So I'm going to pop into my pantry and get my act together and get my bay leaf and my peppercorns and like stuff that needs to go into a proper jar of onion jam. Be right back. And I am low on citric acid, so what do I do? Why is citric acid important? So when I make stuff that is not very acidic, not like the, hi Lily, thank you, not very acidic, when it's stuff like jams, I usually use a dash of citric acid on top, right under the cover, to inhibit any bacteria, anything, any mold or anything like that. But since I'm low on citric acid and it needs to go on the shopping list, I'm going to put it on the shopping list right this second, and I'm going to have to use lemon juice to compensate. All right. Do Do I have lemon juice? I have lime juice. Oh, lemon juice. Oh, bugger. Okay, I do have lemon juice. That's good. And here we go. We are starting to juice. We are starting to break down those cells under the influence of salt and produce the juice. And the onions are slowly getting soft. So again, as I said before, twofer. You can use the same process when starting up French onion soup or the onion jam. Oh, you don't have to do that, Lily. Thank you. Thank you so much for the roses. I really appreciate that. That's so sweet. Let's see if any of our friends are out there. All right. So, but yeah. Oh my God, and it's, yeah, now you can seriously see. And here's the thing, here's another reason why I like using red onions. So either red, sweet, Italian, or a regular red onion. It's so pretty. So, on one hand, onion jam is like, it's such a, almost like a barbecue cookout thing, because you put it on burgers. But on the other hand, it's like the girliest looking jam because it's pink. It is pink. It comes out pink, in a jar. Actually, I have a jar sitting in my fridge right now, the open jar. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the jar we already have open. You see how this is, it doesn't show very well on camera, but it's actually like this brownish pink color. And I don't remember whether I put tomatoes into it, but there's basically multiple versions of onion jams, and you can Google it. You can look up, so there is a tomato onion jam, which I have made. Careful with that one. If you are making sloppy joes with it, or you're making burgers with it, have your napkins or paper towels on hand, because it's going to be dribbling all over your face. I mean, it's delicious, but there's no graceful, ladylike way to eat it. It's all over the place. And because if there's tomatoes in this, it just gets sloppier. But I like tomatoes, adding tomatoes. It has to be, I don't know, it has to be one of the beefier, sort of earthier tasting tomatoes if you're adding tomatoes to this. It's worth it, just like I said, prepared to be sloppy. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the share, Lily. So, all right. Moving on, how are we doing here? I wish there was a way to broadcast the smell. If you are like me, if you are a rabid onion lover like me, this is like heaven. I wish I could bottle this, just the smell, and send it. It's so good. And yeah, there's so this is where we would diverge. If I was making a French onion soup, this is the point at which all of the onions have gotten nice and soft. This is the point at which I would add stock. Let's talk about stock for a second. Some people think it's something extremely fancy. It is not. Making your own stock, it's a piece of cake. If you get rotisserie chicken from the store regularly, which I love, by the way, not judging at all. That's been my meal for many, many times. If you get that and you save the carcass and you save the bone, if you want to make your own stock, wrap it up, make a bundle out of basically cheesecloth, tie it up, and put it to boil into a pan of water. And boil it to death for 2 hours. If you like herbs, stuff some herbs into that bundle as well. I usually use oregano, rosemary, thyme, sage, all that jazz. So after boiling it to death, either freeze it, it will freeze, or can it, and again inhibit any sort of growth with either lemon juice on top or citric acid. It's not going to affect the flavor all that much. So that's stock for you. So anyway, so if I were making French onion soup, I would be adding stock right now. And again, because I'm a snob, yes, I will make it with pork stock if I have to, or I will make it with chicken stock if I have to. But my favorite thing ever is to make it with duck stock. And again, I love duck. I've never had duck, really decent duck, until I came to the States. I've had duck a couple of times, you're growing up in Ukraine, but it was a deficit. So I already knew I loved it. I just never had a chance to truly enjoy it. So learned how to make it. Taught myself. I roast a really mean duck. We might do that for Thanksgiving this year. And then I make my duck stock. I basically save the bones, save the giblets, make my own stock, and it is delicious. And I also drain off and freeze duck fat into little cubes. You can freeze it, drain it off, and freeze it in like an ice cube tray. And it is cooking gold. Here's the thing, a lot of people say, oh, blah, blah. But I'm of the school of thought that you can have a little bit, and a little bit of fat goes a long way. There are certain substances, for example, in the vegetables, that our body will not absorb unless there's some fat involved. They're literally not soluble unless fat involved. So you could have a huge salad without a dressing, and you have just wasted those vitamins and minerals. A little bit low-fat dressing is actually better for you than no dressing or fat-free dressing. So when I use duck fat, I use it very, 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 very sparingly. But I use a little bit, and it makes so much difference. It's such an amazing flavor. It's this beautiful, rich, earthy flavor, and it makes all the difference. Are you popping in and out of different lives, Lily? All right. So, but since we're not making French onion soup, we're not adding the stock. We are just watching the episode. Now, here's where the fun begins. We're gonna start seasoning and sweetening. And now I was just teasing you. Seasoning and sweetening and all that jazz. And thank you again for the likes, folks. I really appreciate that. That is so lovely. I'm glad you're having fun. So what do we do? You know what? I still have some fresh thyme out there. I'm gonna pop out to my porch and grab some thyme. Oh, sure. Hang on. Let me add you. There we go. Here we go.
Yay! So excited to be live with you. I want to bring more people in so that way we can bring your first live experience up to par, up to snuff, right?
Yeah, well, and again, this is my first live ever. I've never done this. So I am reeling from just the fact that anyone is here. I'm all of this. So, but let me pop out. I'm gonna grab some herbs. I'll be right back. I am arming myself with the weapon of mass destruction, my huge herb scissors. I'll be right back.
There you go. Love it. Hi, everybody who's joining in. This is Angry Hobbit's first live ever. I'm so happy that she's doing this, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Thanks for letting me barge in. Yes. So go ahead, tap the screen, because what that does is that draws people to her live, and we want her to be in here and all the happy things. Da 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 da
Yeah, here,
da.
I'm back. Okay. So this is, by the way, this
Okay,
is my favorite thing. Oh my God, I wish you guys could like smell this. This is, oh, so what I went and got is fresh rosemary, fresh thyme, and oregano. By
that's
the way,
beautiful.
yeah, that's the same. So I grow my own herbs. I don't think I bought herbs in about 10 years. I grow my
That's
own herbs
amazing.
on my porch, and things like, but people say, oh, I'm a plant killer. You just haven't found the right plant. Rosemary, oh, try to kill that sucker. Try,
Right.
make my day. It's like
Oh,
flipping dirt.
Annie's here. Annie's here. Annie's here. Yeah. Hi, Annie.
Oh my God, you guys.
I'm literally delirious now, Annie. I literally was telling Annie like a half an hour ago, oh, I'm going to try to sleep now. I need a nap. And then I like see that you're on, and I'm like, no, this has to be a thing. I have to support and blow you up too, just like I do with everybody.
Oh
So.
no, thank you so much. This is
Okay,
great.
wait a minute. Okay, who are you, Apex, and who are you talking to? Because that is her real hair, and this is my real hair. And if you're going to be rude, no haters here. That's all I got to say.
Oh, thank you. What?
I can't kick
Yeah,
them out, though.
that's my real hair. It's just how I happen to make my hair today. It is called a double twist ponytail, if you really want to know. And if you would like a tutorial, I shall be happy to provide you one. But don't hate. Besides,
Don't be a hater.
sweetie, I'm here. I am a 46-year-old, 5'1" person. Do you really think there's any kind of hate I haven't seen in my long and interesting life? You ain't got nothing, babe. Anyway,
Woo!
back to the herbs. So
This is
because
epic.
they have stalks in them, I don't, stripping herbs is such a pain in the butt that I don't do it when they're fresh. I just chop off the stalks with it and in they go. And again, I love the way this smells. This is my favorite thing. I love, like, my hands are gonna smell like herbs for like 3 days. This is great.
Oh, I'm
And
not following her. That's weird.
mm,
Sorry. I'm trying to bring people in the live.
oh, that's all right. Now, don't worry about it. Like I said, I'm glad, you're here, I'm here, we're cooking, we're having fun, we're having a good time. Uh, yeah,
Okay. So, my dear, I'm just going to tell you this. So, you can remove this person if you want to remove them. You can click on their thing, and
yeah,
you can make them,
yeah,
and you can make them go away. You can block them and remove them. I would do it, but I'm not a
I'm
mod for you.
done. Yep, just
Because I was
flip
like,
it. Oh, my first blocking. Oh, hey, Annie. Oh my gosh.
I love
Hi,
that you're excited about this.
Yes. Yes,
That was funny.
yeah, rosemary is awesome because it's so hard to kill.
And
It's
honey,
like,
he's gone.
yep. My the root person is gone. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
told her
like,
how to remove him.
why is like, get a life, dude, Just,
Oh yeah,
if you don't like it, just leave. Keep scrolling. It costs you nothing to not be a jerk. Anyway,
it's like just be nice.
but yeah,
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome.
everybody, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I guess. Okay. So, my rosemary plants actually winter, and I live, yes, I know North Carolina is considered to be south, but mountains of North Carolina are not south. We do actually get snow, we get ice, all that jazz. So, and I leave my herbs out to winter. They just survive. Oregano, impossible to kill. I have like overproduction of oregano right now. I have like, I could make an armful of it and like just send to people because, it's insane. Time, it will go dormant maybe during winter, but it will come back. The only one I haven't been able to keep really well alive is basil. Oh, basil and parsley. Those
I
are
love
the two
basil.
sleeping beauties. But you know, it's not a big deal. You know, it's fine.
Welcome in, you guys.
Oh
Send
my
her
God,
a like
thank
so
you
we
so
can get her on the
much, Kristen.
FYP.
You are spoiling me and sending
I'm
me
just
like so sweet. Okay.
I'm just extra. That's what it is. I just love
Okay.
to love, okay? And like I don't even know how like I'm functioning right now. Like after yesterday, I was on Annie's live, and then we were on Stuart's live.
Stuart's live, you know, and let's face it, I told Stuart, you know, today I said, Stu, you know, right, that I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering. You could have just asked me to help you assemble that.
You know, I just have to tell you though, it was beautiful. Wait, so you were
Yeah.
there on the live, right? You were
Yeah, I
there
was
with us?
there very briefly because I had other stuff to do, so I just popped back in.
Oh, okay.
I watched you guys for a little bit, and I popped back out because I had to go make dinner.
I'm pretty sure you probably missed my biggest snafu of the night, but it was so funny. I broke Annie for like 5 minutes. It was beautiful.
That's great. No, we love
It,
that stuff.
it was
Okay.
great, but I was so mortified at the same time because I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. Everybody took this totally wrong. Like now this is just awkward, but
Oh,
um
no.
but but it was great though. It was so funny. Yeah, okay. So okay, I'll have to repeat this story now because I can't just like half talk about it. So
Oh,
what
go for
happened
it.
was
Go for it. Go for it.
I can't remember if this is when Stu was under the table or not, but he was talking about yeah, okay, it was when he was I'm sorry. I'm going to start laughing. So he was talking about how, like, when he does lives at the lake, and you know how it always messes up for him. And
Yeah.
he was, well, all I do is I just sit there and I shake it. I shake the phone. And then I said, okay, Annie, I know, I knew you were going to come in. Annie has to be on this because she's going to tell the other parts if I don't tell it right. So I already know this is going to happen. So please let her in. But anyway, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm repeating this story. So embarrassing. Okay, I have to wait now until she gets on. Annie,
Yep, I
come.
got her. I got her. I got her.
Okay,
Hi.
so hi. Okay, so I have to start over because now I have to watch Annie's expression because then I'll know if I'm telling it right or not. So
I'm going to tell you.
yeah, I know you are. You're gonna be like, no, that's not what happened. This is what actually happened. So Stuart's under the table, right? And I don't know exactly what he was doing. I think he was trying to screw something in or whatever. And so I don't know, somebody made a comment or something, but he's like, yeah, you know, when I am live at the lake and my phone just freezes and all this stuff, he goes, I just sit there and I shake the phone, you know, because that's going to make it better, right? Or something like that. And I'm sitting there and I wasn't even really thinking about like what was coming out of my mouth. It just came out. But I was like, well, you know, that's okay. You know, you can shake it. At least, you know, you're releasing the energy. And I'm sitting there like this, and then Stuart's just kind of like, I don't even know what was his expression. I really
He was
don't
like,
remember.
no, because
Okay.
I started to laugh actually, and I started to laugh, and it's just my phone. I started to laugh because I was thinking completely wrong, and I went a little bit more down the belly button, and I was like, "Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Don't think that I have a really dirty mind. I'm really, really sorry. I'm really
We don't we all
actors.
to some extent.
Actors
Yeah. So
are
okay. That's what happened. I remember now because I was kind of like not really sure what was going on, and Annie's like, she starts laughing, and then Stuart's like this, like looking at me like, did you really just say that on a live? And I'm like sitting there like, huh?
No, don't worry about it. You know, my mind is perpetually in the gutter too. So I dig. Okay.
Well, it was just funny though because Anne is literally sitting there. I'm not even making this up. Like this is true. She was laughing for 5 minutes, and I'm literally sitting here like stunned for like a minute and a half, going like, I don't even know what's going on. And like the chat was moving so fast, I was like, wait, what is going on? Did I missed something. And Stuart's just literally chuckling too, and I'm sitting there like, oh, I get what just happened here. And then I start dying, and I literally am like freaking out. Like I had to like go off screen like this a couple of times. And then Stuart, I don't know exactly what Annie you said or what I said, but then he goes, everybody share the live right now. Everybody has to see like what is happening between these two powerhouses right now, because this is just, I don't even know what he said, but he was going crazy. It was funny. It was funny.
That's funny.
It was
It's
great.
amazing the stuff that happens when it's like 2:00 in the morning, somebody's time. It's really great. You know
Yes.
what? This is too short. I'm gonna need to dilute this. Hold on. I need to find my wine bottle opener because I need to add some wine to this. Sit tight.
Annie, come
Don't go
back.
anywhere.
Annie, come back. Annie. Annie. We are so ridiculous. I feel like I'm so tired, and then I keep rallying because everybody keeps going live.
Sorry. Well, which
It's
time
not,
zone are you in? Really?
I'm in Central Time, but like, so I don't know if you were there when I was telling Stuart and Annie this. Well, I had already told Annie earlier in the day, so I guess I was really just telling Stuart this, and Amber, if it was when she was on, I don't remember. But I literally on Thursday, I drove from New Jersey all the way to Tennessee in one swell swoop.
Oh wow.
And so,
Yeah,
so like
that's a long
I was, yeah, so like, I mean, I even took breaks and stuff, but I was basically in the car for 15 hours. So I didn't get home until like 2:45 in the morning on Friday. And then, and so then it was funny because I was even on the live when Stuart was reading on that Friday. And then
right.
I went home and then I slept for a couple of hours, like maybe 4 hours. And then I did my day. So I had, what did I do? I don't even remember that day very well at all. And then like yesterday was just insane with like Annie and I really connecting and everything, and being on her live and connecting with Amber and being on her live and then getting off and then being on Stuart's live. And I feel like that
Right.
was like
No,
a
you're
good
pretty busy.
2 hours. Like it was a lot. Like it was beautiful. I don't not appreciate it because it was fun to be able to sing for people and to be silly with people.
Oh,
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed, being in that fun, stuff.
no. Yeah, but you are kind of running on empty right
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I have to do work things, and then I'm like, I can't do it. Hi
now.
there, how are you, love? Felicia's in the house. Follow Angry Hobbit. She's amazing. Really, she is. She does this beautiful writing, which I can't wait to get your book. And Stuart's art is beautiful on that. I can't wait to get one. I don't know which one to get. Is it like a set?
No, it's no, they're not a set, but they're a series united by one common thing. So the alternative endings basically are um exactly what it says. It's alternative endings to popular
Your
fairy
therapy
tales.
came back.
So
Oh, she's
um so the theme is the same, but they can be read independently, and they're all short stories. Um
just drink regular water, Felicia, honey.
yeah, no, just drink normal water, drink tea, fluids are
She's
important.
been having a really intense spiritual time right now. And so, like,
Yeah.
I was trying, when I said earlier to drink water, I just meant normal water. I didn't mean drink more of the healing. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. No, I just felt so bad, Annie, because your facial expressions are priceless, especially, I know I missed something too in the story. You're going to remember better than me because, I was like, oh no, she's frozen. She can't tell me that I'm telling it wrong.
But yeah,
But
so let's see. The first alternative endings is based on ballet Swan Lake, which is my favorite ballet ever. Swan Lake and Giselle are my two favorite ballets. So it is an alternative ending to Swan Lake. The second one,
wait a minute. Swan Lake and what? What was the other one?
the other favorite ballet is Giselle by
Ooh.
Jan. And that's based on German mythology, and Annie probably knows well about this. This is about the legend of the dead brides who died before their weddings, and they rise at night to dance in the cemetery. And if you are unfortunate enough to wander in there, they're going to dance you to death. Nice.
This sounds so pleasant.
But it's a beautiful ballet. It's beautiful music, beautiful ballet. The visuals are stunning. So I love it, and it's a love story too. But anyway, so the first one was based on Swan Lake. The second one is an alternative ending to Sleeping Beauty, but not the classic fairy tale. But again, Tchaikovsky's ballet Sleeping Beauty.
Oh, yes, I loved that one growing up. I used to be a little girl, and I would sit there, and my dad and mom, like, they had it recorded, Sleeping Beauty and the Nutcracker. I don't remember which one came first. It doesn't really matter. But, like, they had it on VHS recording. But I literally could sit there and watch through that all day and not move and be totally content with life. But
so the third one is an alternative ending to Hans Christian Andersen's Snow Queen.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes. And then the fourth one, and that I entirely blame Stuart for this, it deviates from the alternative endings canon. It's an alternative beginning. So it was when Stu was doing the Beauty and the Beast acting challenges. And he said at some point, Adam the Prince needs a prehistory. He needs a story.
Yes.
And I sat on the idea for about 6 weeks, and I sat on it, and I sat on it, and I sat on it, and then finally, very late one evening, I texted him. I said, "You asshole, you gave me this idea. I'm writing this. I'm 1,500 words into it. I'm writing this." So the last installment of the alternative endings is called The Making of the Beast, and it is an alternative beginning to the Beauty and the Beast. So
I'm freaking out right now. Oh
and they're all on Kindle. They're like 99 cents or $1.50 on Kindle. So
I don't have one of those devices. I prefer books.
Okay. Sorry. You can have a Kindle app.
Oh, okay.
So yes. And I have translated that version. It's called The Scarlet Flower. It was recorded by a writer, Aksona, if I'm not mistaken. But I have another series, and that's translations. In addition to writing, I do translations.
That's amazing.
The series is called Russian Collection for Kids. And the volume one of Russian Collection for Kids, the last tale in that book is The Scarlet Flower. So yeah, I know exactly.
Let's go. I'm so freaking excited. Beauty and the Beast is actually a Russian fairy tale. That's really interesting because, I was thinking about it. So like Sleeping Beauty, I believe it's actually Romanian/Russian in origin.
It has so many versions of it.
Well, the reason why I say that is because one of the things I don't think I talked about last night was that because I'm from Romania originally. I don't know if you knew that, but I was adopted at 1.5 and brought to the U.S. when I was a baby. But one of the things I learned in the folklore is that it's either on the third day or on the first day of a little girl's birth, a fairy comes to her bedside or her cradle side, and she tells her everything. I don't know if fairies have sexes, whatever. Anyway, the fairy tells the girl all of the things that are going to happen in her life, allegedly.
Right.
And it's very interesting. Oh, hello, Felicia. I miss you too. Bye, Annie. Have me time. Rest well. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Anne. Appreciate you.
Thanks for joining. I know she really appreciates it.
Yeah, well, and it's really late there tonight too. Well, not late, but late-ish. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
their time.
yeah, it is. She's had a lot the last few days too. It's been a lot, especially all the things.
Well, she's been sick. right?
Yeah. I just I asked her to come because I knew that it would be a lot. It would mean a lot to you. So I'm glad she came
No,
for a little bit.
I hope she rests up. This has been, you know, the pandemic continues to haunt us. My day job is I work as a data analyst for a hospital. Basically, what I do is I track down, investigate, and fix broken patient records and broken medical charges as they travel through different systems. And so part of my job involves reading patient histories day in and day out, and that includes COVID long haulers, COVID deaths, post-COVID PTSD. We have that now. And then all the other regular things that people still get sick with, because guess what? People still get sick. And so when it's somebody I know, it is really, really hard. So when I watched Anne's live, the other day, and she was talking about she's still recovering, I was like, not
Hi,
the
Ashley.
other one. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. And I'm just reflecting, because as I was watching your facial expressions, I could really tell like it must really weigh on you, my dear. Hi, Ashley. This is my friend Maria.
Hi, Ashley.
We're newer friends. I follow her. She has this really great, beautiful writing that she does, and a mutual friend of ours, Stuart, who I was live with last night. He did her art for her covers of her books. Are we mutuals yet?
Really good artist. Yeah,
Are we mutuals?
He is an amazing. Stu is an amazing artist. I really miss in early when he was still not quite as big on TikTok. He did fantasy portraits of some of the TikTokers, some of his favorites. And I told him, I said, I really miss you doing that because I love your art, because it's amazing. So maybe we as Stewart's community can put pressure on him to start doing it again, because his art is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we did our fair share of back and forth, when we were working on that, because I did a gigantic brain dump for each one of the 4 stories in the series, with everything that I drew upon as an inspiration, and references to other pieces of literature, all of the images. So it was an insane amount of information to just dig through for him. But in the end, it all came together. I was very happy.
This is Maria. She's the one that Stu has been talking about. She's the one that Stu has been talking about, like with the alternate endings and everything. He's been really hyping her up. This is her. Yeah, she's lovely.
Thank you. If you guys want to see my books and my translations, so you can pop over to my website. It's landofmariak.com. And there is one thing that says original writings and our original works, and the other one that says translations. And translations are organized by author. Star of Solomon, oh my God, that is like my favorite translation I've ever done. And if you have Audible, it is available as an audiobook. iTunes or Audible. And it was done by my very good friend, Jim Spring, who, to me, to this day, that is the golden standard of what an audiobook should be. He and I worked very closely. We're still working together. He's also recovering from COVID, by the way, going on a year and a half. Yeah, that really, he actually almost, unfortunately, didn't make it. He was in the ICU for 10 days, at the hospital for 3 weeks. And of course, for a voice actor to have his respiratory system jeopardized in this fashion is disastrous. And so, but if you are into audiobooks and stuff, pop over, and Star of Solomon is on there, and Jim Spring narrates, and he's so good. But it's one of my absolute favorites. I reread it regularly. It's a gorgeous piece. And I've just been recently working with the Amazon self-publishing platform. They just made books available in hardcover. So Star of Solomon is now available in a little pocket-sized hardcover. So it's out there.
Man,
It's out.
I'm gonna
It's
have to
out.
find a way to like get your autograph because like I know you. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of the troubles with having so many people with whom you're in touch long distance. I wish I could sign the books for you guys, but I'm like here, you're all there.
I'm not far from you. I'm in Tennessee, ma'am.
You're in whereabouts in Tennessee?
I'm in Middle Tennessee up north, so I could literally hop in the car and probably be wherever you are in like 12 hours or less. That's so cool.
Yeah, look up oh, that's right. You guys do have the shift into Central Time in Tennessee. I always forget about that.
Yeah, I'm in the Central Time. You're in Eastern Time.
Yep, we're in Eastern Time.
Guys, thanks for following her. Yes. Thank you for following her. Why are you upset? Tell me what's wrong.
Why are you mad? Why are you mad?
I could say that I'm mad because Angry Hobbit doesn't follow me back.
Oh, I need to do that. No, I totally need to do that. I'm sorry.
I'm just teasing you, but I would love it to have a follow back.
We need to.
Well, I feel like I feel like I spam your account enough now where you can't ignore me.
Spam my account. I feed on positive feedback. Believe me, it's very hard to because I am essentially one
That's so
person.
horrible. I'm so sorry. Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's a
that's
bummer,
never
dude.
fun.
Ouch.
But I'm a one person, basically writing, translating, publishing factory on top of my full-time job. And people are more likely to leave a bad review on Amazon than to leave a good review. And so getting some review to some of my work here on TikTok.
That's a bummer.
It's huge. It's really huge for me. I'm so sorry your bank account was hacked. Most banks right now have protections for that, but not all of them. And unfortunately, some of them are a real pain in the butt to get back to. Okay, this is, guys, our onion jam is almost done. It's like nice and sloppy and delicious.
I'm excited to see it. It's going to be good. I love it, Maria, that you and I are like small but mighty women. Because you're 5'1", I'm 5'2". We're fun size.
Let me show you guys.
You're bringing us over. Oh goodness.
Yep.
She's making onion jam.
Onion jam. Yep.
Oh, phew.
So that's what it looks like. It's pink. So yeah, it's like so onion jam is like one of my favorite things. I learned it by accident. I learned it from a French recipe. And it is good on burgers. If you like big, like barbaric, sloppy, either sloppy joes or burgers, this is the stuff you want to put on it. Like with melty, ooey, gooey cheese and stuff. So yeah.
Hey, guy, I'm really sorry. I barely have any money for myself right now, so I can't help you. I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. I hope everything works out, though.
All right.
We have 2 people in this live. Okay, I'm going to start spamming. I won't spam Anne, though, because she had said she was busy doing stuff. But I will spam other people, no problem. Yes. Guys, you can tap the screen. That will help Maria's stuff go up. Yay. Okay, this is fun. I really like pushing this button.
All right.
This is fun. I'm making like a picture like around your face. I'm just making like a little, I don't even know what I'm doing. It's just like the lights. It's like following you around. I feel like Mary Poppins or something.
That's fine.
Or like the fairy godmother, bippity boppity boo. Oh man. Okay, let's see who else can I send this to. They're probably gonna like message ban me. They're gonna be like, "You're sending too many messages."
If anyone ever asked me to share the recipe for this, I would be so screwed because I this is one of those things where you're just like throwing stuff in, you know, you're just throwing stuff in,
You
and then
will.
you're basically seasoning it, and you are tasting it. You're seasoning it, tasting, seasoning it. This is exactly how it works. You know what? I think we need more herbs. That's what I think. I'm gonna go and forage for some more. I'll be right back, y'all.
Exactly. That's how I feel. Like people, like I don't know about you, Gabby. I hope I can call you Gabby. I don't know if you ever make like matzo ball soup, but like when I've made matzo ball soup and like I do it from the box, like people would ask me like, how do you know when the matzo balls are done? I'm like, it's just a knowing.
You know,
It's just a knowing.
if I don't end up with like a mouthful of leaves right now, that would be a miracle. It is so windy out there. We have a weather front going through, you know, and it is super, super windy. So every time I go out my front door, it's like a face full of fallen leaves.
I believe that.
Look at time, by the way, folks. Time is awesome. If time is an underappreciated herb, use more time. It's delicious. It's amazing. It's good on everything.
I love herbs. I just love fresh things.
Until the ancestors say it's enough. Exactly. Although, so this is speaking of ancestors, funny story. This is true story. So, as I mentioned earlier in the live, I grew up in Ukraine during the Soviet Union, which, by the way, totally makes my head reel that some of you are so young. That is not even like on your political horizon.
I was born in Romania, man.
Yeah, you grew up after, but how many people grew up after it fell apart in 1991? Like,
I was born in 92 in Romania.
So you're like, it's not even on your radar screen. So I grew up in the Soviet Union, and my family is Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, Jewish. And so one of my grandmothers is Jewish. And
are you kidding me? Holy cow, are we like all like a part of the same tribe over here? Like, long story short, like I don't really know for sure if I'm actually Jewish, but there's too many connections. It's crazy stupid.
Yeah.
But Gabby, I'm pretty sure it's Jewish. You're Jewish. I consider my heart Jewish. Holy cow, look at us. The tribe finds the tribe.
Yeah, we could possibly all be related. Yeah, I was born in 1975. You all.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I grew up basically between Brezhnev's stagnation and Gorbachev's perestroika and all of that stuff. Anyway, and I came to the States when I was 19 in 1994. So I just celebrated my 27th anniversary in the States.
That makes my heart so happy. I came to the States in the summer of 93.
So there you go. We could have, you were a tiny little baby at the time.
I was just a cute little baby. We came through Germany, actually. Well, my parents adopted me from Romania, but yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, there you go. So, but anyway, so my one of my grandmothers was Jewish, my maternal grandmother, and she was always overselting things. And in our culture, so when a girl or a woman is overselting stuff, the belief is that she's in love. She's just so distracted that she's overselting stuff. So when we talked about grandma, we always said Grandma Laura, that she's just so in love with grandpa at all times that she's constantly overselting stuff.
Boy, man, that's funny.
It is a thing. It is a thing. It's a thing. It's on record.
I better be careful.
So, guys, those of you young ones, who don't know much about the Soviet Union, I actually do have a book I've written 10 or 15 years ago about growing up in the Soviet Union, because even for those who have read about it, the younger generations, the kids who are now in their 30s and like late 20s, they sort of think, it was this big enemy and then it just disappeared and they all wanted to bomb us. So when I wrote the book, I wanted to show that, no, that's not what it was like, and sort of presented the Soviet Union against the backdrop of my family. And I have a very interesting family. So the book is called A Child in Translation by Marie K. Me. It again, it's in every format. It's Kindle, Kindle paperback, hardcover. It has pictures. It has illustrations. I illustrated it.
Books are
And
like
it's
my
on Audible.
weakness.
Yeah, it's on Audible as well. Valerie Cole was my narrator for them. The Val was amazing. She, oh God, those Russian names and geographic locations. I thought she was going to hang me, but she didn't. So if you want to know what it's like, and I think one of the fun things I did when I was writing that book was, I took excerpts from Wikipedia talking about the topics that I was talking about, and to sort of present that perspective, what it's like in the official version of what is out there and what it was actually like. So if you want to know what it's like, hop on over, read
I
it.
probably
It's
will. I literally am down to like my last like $15, but luckily I'll be able to make it work.
Down to your last $15. Do not do that. No,
No,
friends do not let friends go
that's not
hungry.
what I meant. No, I meant like I'll literally like be able to have access to funds this week. Bezrat Hashem, God willing.
Yeah, no, because if you are down to $15, fill up your tank, come here, stay with us. We're gonna feed you.
Oh my gosh, feeding me. I love food.
Yeah, so my husband and I both cook. We're just very different kinds of cooks.
Yeah, so how do you guys differ?
He is first of all, he is a really good baker and the maker of desserts, and he's really good with sauces. He makes amazing sauces. The running joke until this day is that I married him for the Kahlua cheesecake he makes.
Well, we could say what happens after the Kahlua cake, right?
I will neither confirm nor deny this, but it's out there.
I just had to say it. I had to say it. I mean, I felt like it was open range with you, so I figured I'd just go there. I mean, you're married. I mean, it's always funny to me. Like, I don't know what it is about my vibe, but people are like, "Oh, Mrs. So and so," and I'm like, "No, I'm definitely not married. No, nope."
Yeah. It's interesting. Well, and again, I think now we are starting to get a better understanding of how relationships work and marriages work. And for example, I am extremely grateful to Katiosaurus, whom I absolutely worship. And if I could build her a pedestal and put her on it, I would. But Katiosaurus brought out into the public, for example, what it means marriage to an ADHD person, the neurodivergent marriage, a polyamorous marriage. So I'm glad that's coming out there. I know that I project a married vibe, but I'm glad that the less known, less traditional marriage information is starting to become available up. And I'm very happy about that.
I think there's so much diversity in the world. Like there's so much to learn. Like I don't know like a lot of things, and so I love the people that I've been finding and coming across, and I'm just like, wow, this is so cool.
We are ready to start our packing, guys. So I'm going to show you some.
Gabby. It is so freaking cool. Like, oh gosh, like hi Ashley. It literally is phenomenal. Like I feel like I keep like repeating myself, like because it's like yesterday was so crazy, like just how Annie and I finally like really connected, and Amber and I connected, and then like we were all talking, and then I had to get off the live, and then I got back on with Amber, and then my phone literally died, and then I like ran with my dog, and I came back, and I was like, oh, Amber's gone. Then I go on to Stuart's live, and then oh, there's Amber, and all the things, and it's just, and then we ended up talking for like huh?
What kind of dog do you have?
Oh, she is a Border Collie Australian Shepherd mix.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I'll show you one of my dogs. We have 3 dogs and 3 cats. Can you see?
Hello, puppy. I can't see the face because my face is in the way.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm trying to angle him.
Hi, baby. Hello.
So this is Reed. It's also known as Bear.
So cool.
Bear.
Beautiful.
Newfoundland Chow mix.
That's so
And
cool.
so, and he's our oldest dog. He's 14, so he's a big old guy. He weighs like 82 pounds, and he sheds like both Newfoundland and Chow. So he is extremely shady dog. Okay, so we made our onion dip. Basically, as you see, it's a slop. It's a total slop. I'm just adding stuff to it. What I always do, I put
Is
a
that
bay
salt?
leaf in
Is
the
that
jar.
salt?
No,
I said,
this
is
is
that
bay
salt?
leaf.
I was making a joke, but okay.
Oh, okay.
It was a very
Bay
funny
leaf,
pair, I guess.
and peppercorns. Oh, you
Ooh,
know what?
peppercorns.
We're gonna do something else fun. We are going to be naughty. We are going to put chili flakes into this. Because this is gonna get consumed in winter.
I'm sorry, I had to check something. Somebody sent me a voice note, and I was like, "What did they say? I want to know."
No problem. So so chili flakes, that means that when we're
Burgers with winter, it's gonna be it's gonna have a little heat in it, like just in the back of your mouth. So when you're eating a nice, sloppy, juicy, disgusting burger, like I do with this, you're just gonna go, ooh, oh, there's that little bit of heat to it. So, my gadgets. So this is a collapsible funnel. I love it. I don't like the color. This particular shade of green is not my color. Don't care. This is an awesome thing to have. Just pop it right into the jar. And this, I want to show you this. This is an incredibly expensive. This is from Williams Sonoma. Now, I'm not a fan of Williams Sonoma. Yep, I'll let you in. Here you go. So,
Williams Sonoma. I am not a food snob to the point where I think I have to have dipped chocolate that looks like my mom's celery. But this was a really good purchase. I've had this for several years. So this is a ladle that has a little lip to it right here. And so it allows me to dispense things of different thickness into jars, jugs, bottles, whatever, without spilling them. And I love this thing. And it also, I'm pretty sure, like it has this nice weight to it. I'm pretty sure that if somebody broke into the house, I could knock them out with this. I do not advocate violence. I advocate
You should have
self-defense.
seen me yesterday with a saucepan because people were saying that Stuart looked like Flynn Rider, and I said, I'm like, should I go get a frying pan? And like, I was like, I'm getting the frying pan. So I grabbed a saucepan, like like one of the short ones that looks like it could be a frying pan, and they're like, that's a saucepan, and I'm like, you know what? I have it right here. There you go, and now I'm putting it away.
Yeah,
I think Gabby was there for that. I don't remember though.
Yeah, so but these two things allow me to dispense. I love them. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I do have some citric acid. That's good. And I have little strong man hands because I do my own weeding with my bare hands, and I do lots of other things with my bare hands. So I actually no longer need the cap tightener to tighten my caps. I can do it with my bare hands now.
There you go. Way to go, girl. You're like Wonder Woman.
It's right.
Wonder Woman Hobbit. Hobbit Wonder
Actually,
Woman.
Now, seriously, if you hurt your hand or whatever. So this I bought just at the grocery store. And I do use it to open things because things do get tight. But it has like different openings of different size, and you basically put it on the cap and squeeze real hard and then leverage and turn to open. So if your hands hurt, if you for whatever reason you cannot open stuff, this is a good, especially if we're small women with little hands. I have little hands. Yep, dinky little hands. That this thing is pretty, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I use it. So there. Where's my stuff? There's my stuff. But yeah.
So I hope this isn't too personal, but do you and your husband, do you have children?
No, we don't. Just the hairy ones.
Hairy ones. Oh.
Just the 3 dogs and 3 cats.
Oh, you have
And
quite the menagerie. I love it.
they're all adopted. They're all rescued from local adoption centers, you know, in the area. Oh, look at this. So pretty. This is so pretty.
It looks great.
It's now the challenge. The challenge is to let it sit. It gets better as it sits, like so many things that you make.
Like wine, good wine.
Like for 2 weeks it needs to sit, at least 2 weeks.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then all of the flavors are gonna blend in together. And you'll be ready to have it. And now I'm gonna do them in a steam bath for 20 minutes. So what's gonna happen, the wet water is gonna boil. Basically, they're in a pan with water. It's like Dutch oven without Dutch oven, because not everybody has a Dutch oven they can use 2 times a year. Big pan, water on the bottom, put the jars in.
Hello, Emma. Welcome in, darling.
Yeah. Bring it to the boil.
Welcome in.
And then, let it boil for 20 minutes and then turn it off. So what that's going to create, the air inside the jar is going to shrink and create a vacuum that's going to suck in that cap. And the cap is going to stay on for dear life. Hey, what we got here? I love lemon curd jam. I haven't made that before. I made, thank you so much for the likes, guys. I really appreciate it. That's so sweet. Yeah, but I love any good jam. Lemon curd, strawberry, Lily, you have $15 left. Stop that. You're being naughty. I'm going to be steward and I'm going to start saying, you don't need to be spending money on it. But yeah, so this is onion jam. And again, I love raspberry. Yeah, raspberry is my favorite.
Strawberry.
Strawberry, of course. A good strawberry jam.
Is there like a watermelon jam? I don't think I've ever come across that. Is there such a thing? That'd be amazing if there was, but there's probably not. A girl can do it, right?
It's so sloppy. I mean, it's got so much liquid. And I come from, watermelon is super popular in Ukraine, and you just eat it. All jam,
Emma,
yes.
This lady is phenomenal. You need to follow Angry Hobbit. Her name's Maria. She's an author. She writes alternative endings or beginnings in some cases for fairy tales. And Stuart actually did the art for her covers, and they're a great team when it comes to that kind of stuff. Hi, Cody. Welcome in. Please follow Angry Hobbit. Follow Angry Hobbit. She's amazing. Follow Maria, please. She's a wonderful writer, even though I haven't read anything of her stuff yet, but I will, and I'm sure I'm going to love it.
You're giving me the advanced movies. But yeah, we do actually have a alternative endings trailer that I did that you've seen, Lily. It's in there somewhere.
I did see it. Oh my gosh, that's awful. I did. Oh my gosh, I did see it. You're right, and I commented too. Right.
Yeah.
I did. Thank you, Cody. Thank you for following her. She's phenomenal. Yeah, she is sassy. So Cody, you think I'm sassy? She's sassy. You should see this woman's comments on videos.
Sassy, I think it's it comes with experience.
I don't know what that means for me then, because I'm pretty sassy. I mean, you should have seen me last night. I was pretty sassy.
Yeah, folks, like I said, if you want to read my stuff or listen to my stuff, so I have at this point something between 150 and 160 publications total. And
that's amazing.
Most of them are available on Audible and iTunes, but they're also all available on Amazon Kindle in paper, and full-size books are available in paperbacks and hardcovers. So If you want to see what they are, pop over to my website. It's www.landofmariak, all one word,
Hashtag in her
landofmariak.com.
bio.
Yeah, the link is in my bio here on TikTok. And when you get to the page, you will see there will be a drawing that takes you to my original works and the drawing that takes you to my translations. And translations are organized by author. So as a translator, I'm one of the probably biggest translators of less known works of Russian and Ukrainian literature in the US today. That's the
I was
bulk
telling.
of my work. So I
sorry.
specialize. Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Cody. Thank you. But when I came to the States in 1994, I was surprised how many people sort of knew Russian literature, but all I ever saw was War and Peace, Crime and Punishment, a little bit of Pushkin, a little bit of Lermontov, and that was it. So when I started seriously translating, which was about 10, 15 years ago, and started publishing, I purposely focused on writers that are less known abroad. So I've done writers like Alexander Kuprin, who is my favorite writer. Let's see, Ukrainians. Which Ukrainians have I done? I've done Marko Vovchok, I've done Ivan Franko, I've done Mikhail Kotsubensky, Nikolai Gogol, who wrote the Dead Souls, and Gogol is weird. Gogol is known better for his plays here, like the Inspector General. So if you're an actor, you would know Inspector General. I've done Chekhov. Chekhov here is known more for his plays. He's known for like the Cherry Orchard and such. I have a huge book of short stories that I translated by Chekhov called Life as It Happens. So,
Did you send that to Stewart?
specialization, as a translator, this is primarily what I do. And as many translations as I can, I make available in addition to Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. I also make available on Audible and iTunes. My narrators include people like Kirk Strickland, Jim Spring, Virginia Ferguson, Fred Walensky. Halloween is coming out. Fred Walensky. So fun story about Fred Walensky. He is, Taras Shevchenko. No, I haven't done Shevchenko. I have translated poetry once, and I'm never going to do it again because translating poetry is a form of masochism. I just can't stand it. But yes, I know Shevchenko. I love him. I love his poetry. I love his art. Did you know he was also a fantastic painter? If you Google Taras Shevchenko paintings, they're gorgeous. Oh my God, he was so talented. And but no, I haven't translated him, and I don't know if I ever will because he wrote poetry. But no, totally look up his art. It is so beautiful. Fun fact about Shevchenko: so he was a serf in Russia, Ukraine, that area, Russian Empire. There was serfdom. It was like slavery with some slight differences. But people were basically sold and bought like cattle, like property, that type of thing. And Shevchenko was a serf. And he also was packed off into the army for like some insane amount of time. And a bunch of Russian writers and artists saw his work and read his work, saw his work as an artist. And they said, this is a shame. This guy should be working. He should not be a slave. So they helped buy him out from serfdom so that he could become a full-blown artist, full-blown writer. So yeah, his art is absolutely amazing. It leverages heavily Ukrainian tradition and colors like the red and black and gold. You see a lot of that in the frescoes around Ukraine and just the folk paintings, but it's also uniquely his own, and he was a very talented guy. So yeah. You know what? While I'm waiting for my jam to boil, I'm gonna make one of my favorite snacks ever, and that one is easy but not easy. So I picked that up from a friend who has been to Italy, and she became addicted to Caprese. And I immediately started thinking, I I love making snacks, but I don't want them crappy snacks. I want good snacks and pretty snacks. So I invented what I call the Caprese mini-skewer, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Stay put. I need to go get some basil. In order to make these, you're gonna need either basil, crushed basil, or fresh basil leaves. You're gonna need cherry tomatoes, and you're gonna need some type of cheese, preferably mozzarella. And I have all three. I'll be right back.
This was so cool, Cody. I'm glad you're here. Maria is lovely. Maria is lovely. This is so lovely. Maria's probably going to get mad at me if I send her more roses, so maybe I should refrain. How much do I have left? Oh, I better save those. 3:33, make a wish for me in Central Time. Good girl, Eliza. Good girl, Eliza. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
Yes,
Sure.
we're singing. What are we
Yeah,
singing?
I was singing, yes.
No, singing is good. I grew up singing, because when you're living in a country with 3 government-controlled TV channels,
Yeah.
and lots of electrical outages, you spend a lot of time in the dark and candlelight. And so we actually did that thing that you see in old movies, like sitting together on a dark winter's night, darning socks. I'm not joking. We've done this and singing. So we've done that, been done. Yep. And we weren't all good, but we all sang.
That's beautiful. Oh, yeah, I had so much fun singing last night. I did this one. I did I wonder why sweet little birds have someone to sing to, sweet things to. La da, ba, ba, da, 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 da. And then it also goes into, I know you, I'd walked with you once upon a dream.
There you
I
go.
know you, the gleam in your eye is so
How many people know that that's actually a waltz from Tchaikovsky's ballet?
I don't know, but that doesn't surprise me and explains why I love it so much, because waltzing,
Because
Lily, you're what? What?
Okay.
So, thank you. So let's see. Cody's in love with my voice. Stuart's in love with my voice. Who else? I don't know who loves my voice. Many people love my voice. So I'm glad that they do. I feel humbled and honored. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You have a great voice. You have a beautiful voice. See, you have a performance voice. I don't have a performance voice. I have the darting socks on the dark winter's night voice.
Oh, you're very sweet. I literally have been classically trained, though.
Well, so have I, but it didn't go very far. I actually went to a music school. I used to be a really good pianist when I was 14, and then I stopped practicing. It was a choice between going to the conservatory and continuing with regular school, basically. So until the age of 14, I went to 2 schools, regular school and music school. I had to pick one, so I picked regular. So my regular school had the in-depth study of English language, and I knew that is going to be very useful to me in life. So that's what I went with. So mozzarella, tomatoes, basil. I wish I could broadcast the smell, because oh my God, this is fresh basil growing on my porch.
I love basil.
Oh my God. You could just do limes with this. This is amazing. This is so delicious.
I'm going to just sing about basil. I'm going to sing, I'm wishing to smell Maria's basil. It's in her kitchen I'm too far away, but I want basil, please.
All right.
That's so weird.
See, I can't make stuff up. Oh, I can't make stuff up like that. I can't like make. I have to know all the words to a song in order to be able to sing it. I don't know if it's just my personality or my spectrum. I'm a very, very high functioning autistic, and so incomplete verses, incomplete tasks, incomplete sentences, those things just drive me absolutely batty. And I will not sing a song unless I know all the lyrics. I will not do that. Do not ask me. Do not make me. Do not twist my arm. Go away. Will not do it.
You might not have enjoyed what we were doing last night then, because we were all taking turns. Annie, Stuart, and I, we were singing different Disney songs.
Like, see, I wish I could watch that bit because I was already gone by then.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like really late. Like I'm pretty sure it was close to I don't know, it was pretty close to when I got off because Sasha wanted to come in, so I was like, oh, I'll jump out so she can come in, and
yeah,
it was fun. It was really great.
yeah, that's so sweet.
It'll be fun to do more, I think.
So what we do, I'm gonna cut the basil leaves in half, and here's what happens: you wrap the basil leaf around the cherry tomato, you stick it with a skewer, and you add a slice of cheese. You're done. When we're all done with these, you sprinkle them with olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
Hi, Martina.
And
please follow Angry Hobbit. Maria is lovely. I'm getting to know her more. My heart will be content when she follows me back. No, just kidding. I'm very content.
I'll follow you back when I'm done with this. I promise. Pinky promise.
Sorry, I just really, I don't know. I'm just really happy that I'm connecting with the people that I want to connect with, and I'm so grateful.
This is like
thank you, Martina, for following the host.
A lot of people say, TikTok, and this is, by the way, this is not just TikTok. This is social media in general. Social media is evil. Social media is horrible. Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. No, it's like life. It's whatever you build in it for yourself. Okay. Yes. There's always going to be jerks. There's going to be douches. There's going to be trolls. There's going to be people who are going to try to make it bad for everyone else because their lives are miserable and they just don't know any better, or because they have zero emotional intelligence. That can happen too. But it is what we make of it. And yes, I have been trolled. I've gotten hate on TikTok. Hey, we got one on this live with the gentleman.
We did. Someone had said that to me like yesterday. I've had some pretty interesting ones, but like that were trolls, like very bad ones. Like one guy was basically like, stand up, pull down your pants and show us what you got. And I'm like, no, thanks.
Yeah. Not unless, that gift had better be in 6 digits, and then I might consider it.
No, that is, yeah, I don't even know 6 digits.
They actually do. Consider and do is not the same thing.
That is true. Yeah. Show me the check first, then.
Show me the money. But it's funny, not funny, but how one can totally just really mess things up for someone else. So among many other things, I am an amateur belly dancer. I've been belly dancing
belly dancer.
Thank you. I've been belly dancing for 2.5 years. It was my present to myself on my 44th birthday. So, and I've been belly dancing ever since. I practice pretty much every day, and I've done intensives and classes and all that. One of my mentors, by the way, if you want to look him up on YouTube, belly dancer extraordinaire, Horace Maserati. Look him up. That is my mentor. I adore him. He's my friend. He is, as far as I'm concerned, the best belly dancer currently performing in the world. He is amazing.
You might want to.
I challenge you. If you're going to look up Horace, you're going to dump Stuart.
What?
I'm just telling you right there. Stuart knows I would say shit like that, so don't worry about it. But anyway, no, seriously, he is an amazing, beautiful dancer. He's my mentor. I have tremendous amount of respect for him and
Sorry.
admiration.
No, I just thought it was funny that you're like, you're going to jump Stuart. I'm like, what? Okay, anyway. Yeah.
But
So
you see what I But
I
anyway,
do,
so,
yes.
but I share a lot of my belly dancing videos from TikTok to Instagram. And I had a
You're on
follower.
Instagram too?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram too. And I had a follower on Instagram who basically over time became obsessed with my stomach. Not with me as a dancer, not with me as a person, okay? Just the body part. And he started posting demands of me doing close-ups of my stomach when I danced. And I told him no. And that was extremely, it was, and I eventually had to block him because it was becoming extremely, extremely uncomfortable. So there's always going to be some.
You would think something so innocent, dancing. You know, dancing, good fun, good exercise, you know, enjoy it, just whatever. And somebody will come along and will attempt to really ruin it for you. Well, don't let them. These are good cherry tomatoes. So, for those who are joining late, we've made onion jam. We're now making Caprese mini-skewers, which is one of my favorite snacks all the time. It is cherry tomatoes wrapped in fresh basil leaves. If you don't have fresh basil leaves, what you can do is make a skewer with a cherry tomato and a piece of mozzarella or some other cheese of your choice, and then sprinkle them with dried basil, and then sprinkle with balsamic
and olive oil. So, I love your tiara, by the way. That is beautiful.
Thank you. I love it too. I'm sorry I keep like jumping out. It's just that for whatever reason, whenever I click something, it like does this weird thing where it just like the audio, it only happens when I'm like doing a live this way. It will push the audio through like a second time or something. So it's like this nasty reverb and it drives me nuts.
That is very strange.
I don't know.
That is really weird. Huh. So, but anyway, you know what? You see a troll, block them. If they're being abusive, report them, then block them. Because I'm sorry, consequences are important. We have too many problems because of people not getting consequences of their actions or not considering. Apparently, when they were 5 years old, their mom didn't tell them that actions have consequences. So let's teach them.
Or they did and they just don't care.
Anything horrible. Let them have their account suspended for 3 days. Maybe they will have time to think about it.
Hi, Gabby.
Before they can go back and start ranting. So there you go. Okay. I'm eating more of these tomatoes than I'm actually using. This is ridiculous.
That's okay.
Really I'm addicted to cherry tomatoes. I didn't have this growing up.
Welcome back.
I didn't have them. Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back.
Emma, are you following Angry Hobbit yet? I hope you are. She's lovely.
As I said at the beginning of the live, this is not a cooking channel. This is a books, belly dancing, fantasy cosplay channel. I just happened to be cooking today and decided to go live because I'm insane. So yeah.
I'm glad you came live, and I'm glad I saw it. So then
yeah,
I could support you and bring people in.
I'm glad too. But like if you are over there in Tennessee, you should pop over sometime. We have food, we have animals, cats and dogs provided free of charge.
That's epic. Yeah. Yeah.
No, we have to basically ask people, when they come over, is like, you can open your door, you can close your door. It's your decision, because if you leave your door open, you are waking up with a strange animal in your bed. That's just what's going to happen to you, So
Would you care if I
make
brought my
decisions
dog?
wisely. Let's see.
That is epic. Would you all care if I brought my dog with me? Because I kind of can't leave her.
Well, no, you can. You could bring your dog. We will probably have to do the introductions and stuff because our dogs are kind of a very tight bunch.
I believe it.
But yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
The only time I wouldn't bring her with me is like if I was to go abroad to like England or like Ireland or Romania or something,
Oh.
because that would just be
What
too
are the
hard.
rules for that? I mean, don't the animals have to go through quarantine? Isn't there?
Well, even before COVID, they had to go through a certain type of
Right.
quarantine, like if you're going to be moving there or something. But yeah, welcome in, you guys. Please follow Angry Hobbit if you're not already. You need to follow her.
Thanks everybody for joining. I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you, everybody. Really, I really appreciate it. I didn't expect anybody to actually actively participate. So this is amazing.
This is how we roll. This is how we roll. You see me rolling. They hating.
I have like a singing accompaniment. This is great.
You have like one of the most hilarious individuals on your live, right?
No, this is I'm down with this. This is good.
Let's groove tonight. What's the spice of that? Let's groove tonight.
And because I don't get to interact with people a whole lot because, like I said, I've been because I am immune compromised, and I actually have a diminished lung capacity. So I have a lung capacity of a 10-year-old child. So if I were to get COVID, I would probably die. I am fully vaccinated and all that, but I have been in this kind of self-imposed solitary confinement for a lot of the pandemic. I haven't been there. I haven't talked to anybody. So yeah, this is what a Caprese skewer looks like. So yeah, Caprese skewer. So here we still have some cheese left. We still have some basil left. Here's how you make it. If you have, where did my if you have fresh basil, which is easy to grow indoors, okay, but it doesn't winter well. So cherry tomato, basil leaf, or half a basil leaf. I have tiny cherry tomatoes. They really are the size of cherries. So you wrap the tomato in the leaf and you stick it with a skewer or toothpick, and then you add a cube of mozzarella cheese.
Mozzarella.
Yep, or any other cheese. You cannot trust me with cheese because I can, in fact, put away a block of cheese in a sitting if I'm not paying attention.
So can we change that salt thing to cheese then for you? Like you're very in love with your husband when you put all the cheese in?
God, this is good. And mozzarella is one of my favorites. Then once they're done, what you do is you sprinkle them with olive oil, very lightly, and you sprinkle them with balsamic vinegar, also very lightly. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like.
Cooking with Maria, cooking with Maria, cooking with Maria.
So
cooking with Maria.
I'm certain I know that for the oh yeah, oh God, you're a hero, having a baby in the summer, in the pandemic. Oh my God. that is rough. That is rough.
Wow.
And yeah, and your kids are, yeah, too little to get vaccinated. I completely sympathize. As a hospital worker, even though I work from home, but the hospital I worked for got all of us vaccinated early. My second shot was in February because once they vaccinated all of the doctors and nurses, they said, okay, you know what would make sense? If we made sure that all of the non-med personnel was still functional so the hospital infrastructure doesn't break down. All of the IT people, all of the billing people, all of the coding people. So they got all of us vaccinated to make sure that doctors and nurses could be supported and could get paid. All of that stuff. So yeah. And I just got my booster shot last Friday. And I got my booster shot and my flu shot at the same time. And that, my friends, was a raging ride. It was insane. Oh my God. It was miserable. I know it's like nowhere near as bad as the real thing.
Katrine is here. Hi, Katrine, my love.
Hello.
Hi, Katrine.
Okay, now I
is
have
here.
control. This is quality control, guys. I'm not greedy, but I have to try. I mean, what kind of a chef doesn't try their own cooking, right?
My mom used to say, I'm trying to make sure it's not poison. Hi, Ashley. Welcome in.
Oh, this is so good.
I'm giving you a 6-minute warning because I do have to go to a friend's, but
Okay.
I've been enjoying this so much. I'm glad to finally talk with you.
You
like actually talk with you.
And I promise, after I hop off here, which I'm gonna in a minute. But also, do I have this in the cookbook? I don't remember if I have the snack in the cookbook. I also have a cookbook.
That's epic.
So the cookbook is called The Binge. And again, if you want to pop over, yeah, here's why. Because again, growing up in the Soviet Union, I did get a lot of exposure to nothing wrong with our feet. Food shortages, deficits, standing in lines. That was true, by the way. That was accurate. Standing in lines for food and toilet paper, that's accurate. But, but we all cooked because it was believed that it is essential to have your child be very, very self-sufficient. As my parents described it, we don't want you starving to death next to a full refrigerator. So they had us around the kitchen from about when we were 5 or 6 years old. They wanted us to know how to handle a knife. They wanted us to know how to handle a stove. So I actually learned how to slice and dice very, very early. And
that's very much the Romanian way too.
Yeah, there you go. So when I came to the States and I suddenly had this exposure to everything, there was suddenly everything like available. Just like I could go to a grocery store at 1 a.m. and get strawberries in January. Like, holy crap. And so I started trying everything. And that's why my cookbook is called The Binge. I'm still on that binge. Over 20 years later, after coming to the States, 27 years after coming to the States, I am still on the binge because I'm so delighted by being to eat and cook and just do stuff and experiment without having to think how many hours I had to stand in line to get, or whether it might be poisoned or radioactive or anything like that. And believe me, that was a concern. I was 11 years old when Chernobyl happened. If you don't know what that is, go look it up, young ones. I was in Ukraine. I actually had some exposure to Chernobyl radiation, which is why I'm messed up in a variety of ways. But so our food was not safe, literally. Wow. And so being able to be in a country where I have access to stuff and I can cook is basically, it's amazing. It's incredible. So my cookbook is called The Binge, and it is both like a cookbook and a storybook. It's, in a way, it's actually a sequel to A Child in Translation. So A Child in Translation was just a straight autobiography of growing up in Ukraine until, from when I was born to up when I was about in my early 30s. And then the binge was sort of a sequel with Food Throne. So it's out there. It's orange. I love the cover. I did the cover. It's orange. It's like this bright orange cover. And one time in my life, I was persuaded. I actually am wearing a Ukrainian costume on the book cover. So this is one time in my life that I am on the cover of my own book, and I'm wearing a costume. So there you go. Somebody said it would add a hint of authenticity. So yeah. But yeah, and there's what I talk about there was not just about how to cook. It was directed for people who believe they could never learn to cook ever. And that's not true. Anybody can learn. They just haven't found the right approach yet. So I talk about how to start, how to not be intimidated by cooking, how to shop, how to plan, how to keep track of your finances and all of that. So yeah. Oh, somebody just joined, and unfortunately we are getting ready to wrap it up because I see somebody yawning, somebody who has driven a lot of distance and needs to get some rest. So
I will
folks,
sleep
no,
when I can.
seriously. Yeah, thank you so much, Lily. I will, I swear, I'll pop over and follow you. I should have done it a long time ago.
That's okay.
But everybody, thank you.
I've been really laughing about this process because there's been like a handful of people that like I've either followed at one point or like stopped following because just whatever, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, like after yesterday, all of a sudden these people are like, "Oh, I'm going to follow you," and I'm like, "Oh gosh, I feel bad." Their whole stream is going to be just.
We're gonna thank you, Mas. We're gonna sell some books. We're gonna cook some food. We're gonna buy us a TARDIS and go traveling all over the world so that we could be like, I don't know, reading, eating, and drinking, and singing, and assembling absurd pieces of furniture. That's life ambition. Yeah.
Yeah, like all of that. Like you had me at TARDIS. Like I'm like,
Oh
yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I actually have a dream TARDIS. I have a dream TARDIS. I said, if I was a Time Lord, what my TARDIS would look like. So my TARDIS, because TARDIS has an unlimited space inside that we know of. So my TARDIS would have a gourmet kitchen with a 6-burner double oven stove with a library and wine bar next door.
Okay, like where do we all sign up and how do we get into this TARDIS?
And because in addition to being a food snob, I'm also a clothes snob, not a clothes horse, a clothes snob. I like being well dressed. It would also have an amazing closet. So there's that. So
Yeah,
I mean, you all understand. You have to understand. The struggle is real. Right now, I am sharing one reach-in closet with my husband, and we have been married 15 years, and we're still married. So that tells you. But the struggle is real. But anyway, so that's my dream TARDIS. One with a gourmet kitchen, with a library, with a wine bar, and an amazing closet. That's what we're doing. All right.
Yeah.
Folks, thank you so much, Lily. You have been instrumental. Thank you so much. I owe you so much.
I'm just
really
happy to be a part of everybody's journey, and I'm just.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the roses. I really appreciate you all. I do have a Q&A section in my bio in my TikTok, so pop on over. Leave me some questions if you want to do another live. If you want me to make something, to cook something, we can talk about books. We can talk about
with Maria, books, cooking, and Maria. How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you solve
that, aren't you? But oh my God, my teeth look so yellow. That's not, my teeth are not really that yellow. It's just the lighting.
No, I'm pretty sure they're very bright and white. How do you find a word that means
just leave me some, but leave me some question. We can cook. We can talk. We can talk about books. We can translate books. We can don't ask me to read. I hate the sound of my voice when I read books. So that's Stuart's job. Go watch Stuart if he's doing that.
But the funny thing about Stuart reading is that I pretty sure it was like right before I had read part of The Hobbit 2 times. And I had like 2 people in the live, and I'm like, I want to do this still, but I'm like, I don't know if people are actually going to want to read. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically, what Stuart, one of the things that we did while we were working on the covers was I made him a reading fodder folder. And I dumped into it all of the fairy tales, children's stories I've ever done, I've ever translated. And I told him, when you are struggling for material, you're not sure what you're in the mood for, just pop over to the reading fodder folder and grab something.
That's so cool.
The Russian tales that he's been reading actually from something that I have translated. That's what we've been doing. So, yeah.
Ravi, you need 1,000 followers, my love. We'll get you there.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think 1,000. It's not, once you get 1,000, but it feels like it takes for flipping ever.
And there are ways that you can do it, but
teeth.
like it's not as organic. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, there's ways, like follow people. Yeah. Most people are nice. They'll follow you back. I know Maria's super nice. She's going to follow me back like she promised. I have to mess with you.
Of course I'm gonna follow you because I can't lie. I'm like the girl in the movie Knives Out. So if I lie, I'm not gonna vomit, but I get very nauseous and my head spins and my blood pressure spikes.
No, it's okay.
So I'm a non-lying autistic. So if I'm gonna follow you because I promised. So now I have to.
I love
Otherwise,
that
I'll
you
be throwing up
promised.
all over the place.
That means my heart
anyway,
is gonna be cool.
Folks, Lily, you go rest. I'm gonna follow you. Everybody, again, thank you so much. Yeah, I know you're trying to make content every day. I am in the same boat. I've joined
2020 when a lot of the folks who now have 1 million followers or 250,000 followers joined, and I just hit my 1,000 like a couple of months ago. I know it's so frustrating. Just keep it, as long as you're making it, as long as you're happy, other people are happy, you're doing the best you can, and you probably have other priorities other than making content. So, just take it easy on yourself. It'll get there. It'll get there. All right. Everybody, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. This has been tremendous fun. I honestly didn't expect folks to show up. Appreciate all of you. And like I said, if there's something you want to know, you want to see, something you want me to tell, drop a question in my Q&A and I shall do my best to address it, and we'll do this again sometime. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Do not let the Sunday evening blues to get you. Those of you who have to work tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow too. Hang in there. Love you all.